Hey you guys, welcome back to Angel Angela, and on this topic I just wanted to come on here and talk to you guys real quick about how, the narcissist was never yours. You know, in the moment we feel that way. When we're trying to detach, we don't feel that way anymore about them. You know, there's a part of us that's holding on. We're holding on because this person inflicted so much pain, so much trauma, and you know, they misdirected a lot of your anger, a lot of your sadness, and blamed you for these things. Almost made you feel like, it's you who has to fight these demons, right? They they bring up your traumas, anything you've ever shared with them, because in their mind, you know, they almost feel like they're not the right person to keep your secrets, because they almost feel like, I'm not here to save you. I'm not here to bow down and save you and stroke your ego and make you feel good. They want you to go through the pain. They want you to analyze why it is that you even felt comfortable to even tell them these things. And in their mind, it's like they're not doing anything wrong, because you shouldn't have shared so much personal information with them. So they almost feel like they're doing you a favor, because they feel like, if you opened up to them or trusted them or forgave them, they almost feel like if you wouldn't have bumped into them, you would have bumped into other narcissists. And to them, a lot of the narcissists that you might bump into, they might feel like, I'm not a serial killer. I'm not this. I'm not that. They know that their behaviors are toxic, but they feel like there's other people out there who are worse than them, that are not just emotionally abusive, but physically abusive. Sometimes, it gets to a very diabolical level, and they feel like when they're lashing out at you or they're filled with rage, they almost feel like they're only giving you a glimpse of how bad things can go, and they're also testing to see how much you can take. And just when you think that you can't take anymore, right? They come back. They hoover you, they love bomb you, and they do it all over again. And the cycle never stops. The pattern is the same. If you really pay attention, the pattern is the same. So this person is a predator. They're trying to beat you down. They're trying to break you down to the point where they feel like, hey, either you're going to survive this situation or you're going to allow me to break you down. And if you're willing to allow me to break you down, anyone else can break you down. But see, they know that the reason you're holding on to these people is because you had an idea of love, or you had an idea of who they were to you, or you had an idea of the things that you want in life, in relationships, and the narcissist feels like it's good to be delusional, because they're delusional. So to them, it's like, it's okay to dream. It's okay to want these things. It's okay to want. They love it when you talk about being with them for the rest of your life. When you go along with the fantasy, they love it. They love the way you make them feel. They love living in the fantasy with you. And it's kind of sick, because they know that it's nothing but a fantasy. They know that everything that they promised you is not going to last forever. They know that the relationship has an expiration date. They know that it's just your turn. It's just your turn. And, they'll go after, weaker supply. They'll go after weaker supply, because they feed off of trauma. They feed off of not just trauma, but people who haven't experienced pain to their level, they enjoy inflicting the pain because they feel like life is hard. Life is filled with pain. So to them, it's like they kind of want to bring you up and give you this high of the things that you want the most. The things that you're seeking, comfort, affection. They want to give you all these things to the point where, you know, you're crying and you're almost, when the narcissist is love bombing you, you'll have moments where you're crying. I remember having moments where I just felt like I was so in love with this person, and it was like it didn't matter if they cheated on me, it didn't matter if they lied to me, it didn't matter if they called me names, it didn't matter. All the fights didn't matter to me because I was holding on to the good part. I was holding on to the good moments. I was holding on to the affection, to the sex. I was holding on to everything else, to the dream that I created. And I was holding on to that dream so much that nothing else mattered. I almost felt like, you know, these are just, these are just obstacles that people go through in relationships, but it's going to eventually, things are going to change, or they're going to see how loyal I am to them. They're going to see that, no one else will have their back like I do. You become desensitized to the things that they destroy even around you. you know it almost becomes like certain things that matter don't even matter anymore. you know just money, jobs, resources, all these things matter, but not in the same way. It's like they lose their value in your life, where it's almost kind of like, this intense feeling of passion towards this person, where it's like everything that you want to do, you almost want to live for them. You want to live for them. You feel like you're enslaved to them. You know, moments where you don't want to be around them, or you might even not respond to the narcissist, or they might hoover you, and you're trying your hardest, to stand firm in the choices that you make. But it's just this obsession, this connection, where they can say certain words to you, or all they need to do is get around you. They just need to, they just need to come around you. This is where the stalking comes in. This is where they'll come out of nowhere. They'll wait for you. They'll leave you notes. And you're wondering, why would someone play a cruel joke with me like this? You know? Then it's like you start to see what the relationship is, and you almost start to grieve the relationship while you're with them. And what's kind of crazy about this is that the narcissist knows exactly where you're at in your healing. They know when you're going through that obsessive stage where, you're on fight or flight. You're willing to fight people. You're willing to anything to keep the narcissist. You even become aware of other women, or you might be aware that they might be doing things behind your back. And even if you might not want to know, you're still fighting for the relationship. You're picking fights with the narcissist because something doesn't feel right. They're picking fights with you because they feel like you should already know who they are. They feel like they've dropped enough hints. They've said enough things to you during arguments. Even if they took them back, even if they lied to you and they took what they said back to them, it's like, I've already showed you I'm a liar. It's like they're trying to almost teach you life lessons, and in the back of their head, they're knowing, you're in your emotions. When you start to, become depressed, they're watching you. They almost make you feel like they're your savior, like they're going to help you out through your depression. It's almost like, I remember just even one time, just it's almost like I was expressing to the narcissist how he was making me feel, where I was at in this pain and this delusion that I've been trying to get out of now, because I'm realizing that things aren't what I thought they were. And the narcissist is just kind of like, well, you're gonna have to get it together, like, I don't know how much longer I can take of this, because I'm with this person, but now I'm dealing with depression. So it's almost like he's kind of like, he won't allow me to move on, and he won't move on himself, because he almost feels like he has to stick around for the depression. And, then when the anger comes, they feel like, you're going to kill them. They feel like you're angry at them. You keep telling them you love them, but when you get angry, you take it to another level. You take it to their level, whatever level they've taken their anger. Now you're almost projecting that anger back to them because you're angry at them. So the narcissist looks at you like you're throwing a tantrum because you want to be with them. To them, they feel like I said, if you wouldn't have went through it with them, they feel like you would have went through it with someone else, someone worse. Sometimes they feed you, broken promises, marriage, children, and they're lying. And in their mind, especially if they've already established, had a prior family, or commitment with other people and long relationships with other people, they feel like, this is just your turn. They feel like, the last person I was with, they wish they would never have had a child with me. So, I'll sell you the dream, I'll persuade you, I'll seduce you, but in this round, I'm not going to have another child because I can't afford to. So they keep people even, in connected to them through children, because in their mind it's like, your time is up. They'll move on to another supply, but to them it's like, your time is up. But if you're still single, you're a single mother, and no man has stepped up, I'll still come around. I'll still be here. I know you're grieving the relationship. I know you're grieving what we used to be. I know you're trying to get used to new supplies and new people I've brought into this, into my life, or new children I've had. I know you're trying to get used to the knowing the truth, but I'm still the same person. I still care about you. I'm still here for you. So they almost make you feel like they'll always be around. Like it's just the relationship's not ever going to be the same. You're never going to get the same version of them. And they feel like, well, why would you get the same version? I'm growing. I'm going from supply to supply. I'm changing as a person. I'm evolving into a different character. So I could never go back to being exactly who I am. But at least now you know the truth. At least now you know that the mask has slipped. At least now you know what I'm really about. At least now you finally understand someone like me. Because it's a lot of them. So they feel like now you understand someone like me. And now you know, hey, when I got with you, it was just your turn. Just like how you feel now, how you're hurting because you feel like you lost that sensation of a first love because of the seduction. Other women felt like that. It was just your turn. When I got with you, there are other women who felt like you, like they wasted their time with me. It's just your turn. And you're not the last woman or man to go through that. There's plenty of women and men out here who went through these things. It's just that I got you when you had a lot of hope. When you were living in a fairy tale land. I got you when you didn't really know what you wanted. You hadn't experienced certain things. If anything, they almost feel like they upgraded you. They almost feel like I targeted you for a reason. And even though I hurt you, you learned your lesson. You learned your lesson about allowing people to talk to you a certain way, calling you names. You used to sit there and cry when I used to call you names, and now look at you. Someone says something to you, you know it's a form of disrespect, and you know, you put them in their place. So the narcissist almost feels like they come in your life, they cause this pain, but you're going to survive. They feel like, it's just emotions. You're going to survive. That's how they look at it. They feel like you're going to get wiser. And then certain supplies don't make it out of that because the narcissist pushes your buttons to the point where you don't even want to exist anymore, you know? But in their mind, they feel like anything bad I've ever done to you, it's just going to be you. It's just game. A lot of people, you can teach certain things to, you can talk to about these things like, like information of wisdom, that I've learned through the years. I can talk to a lot of people about these things, but it's not going to process the same because the game is to be sold and not told. So to the narcissist, is like, there's no point on me talking. There's no point because you don't want to believe that I am who I am. You don't want to believe when people betray you. You don't want to believe certain things, So to them, it's like they almost feel like they're snapping you out of fairy tale land. And they feel like you should be grateful that you end up with someone worse than them. And they act almost like all the abuse, the fighting, the disrespect. They act like almost like it didn't happen. They act like, stuff happens all the time and you got to move on. It's like, it's like the narcissist, trespassing and coming into your property and you calling the police on them. And then the next day they come, the next day you call the police and the police is like, when did this happen, ma'am? Yesterday. Sorry, we can't do nothing about that. We can't do nothing about yesterday. What's happening right now? So to the narcissist, they look at the world the same way. It's like, what happened already happened. What are you going to do today? So to them, they almost feel like if you're not dead, you need, if you're still alive, they almost feel like now you can go and get what you really wanted. They almost feel like they were a blueprint, for you to navigate to what you really want in life. They almost feel like they're giving you tough love. They feel like for them to give you so much energy and be around you, even if they were using you, it was a transaction either way. They were getting something out of it. They feel like you were getting something out of it. They almost feel like you're trying to make them look like the bad guy, but you should be happy that they had patience for you. You should be happy that, they almost feel like they trained you. They trained you to think like them because a lot of people think like them. And they almost feel like they helped you navigate things and lessons that you didn't grow from, that you were still stuck on. Because if that wasn't the case, you would have never trusted them. You would have never been so open with them. So the narcissist likes to go after people that they feel like are broken. And they know you have a lot of love in your heart. And that's what attracts them to you. But at the same time, that's also what pushes them away. Because they almost feel like, that's how you feel right now. When you wake up and you know what's really going on, you're not going to feel that way about me because you're going to know that I was using you as a tool to protect myself. You were nothing but protection. and you're gonna be mad because you think you know it's a transaction, but you don't know the extent. You don't know that it's time that I'm taking from you, and time is the one thing you can't get back. So the narcissist is never really yours. It was just your turn, you know. Just like when they got with you, they left other people in the past. When they leave you in the past, guess what? There's new people, you know, that are going to wonder about you and other people and stories that the narcissist fabricates, you know, and they're gonna, and this is why sometimes you'll even see them downgrade, but in their mind they don't care about downgrading, especially when you're dealing with a narcissist man. He doesn't care about how much money that woman brings to the table. Supply is supply, and to them it's like, you know, if that person isn't used to living a certain type of lifestyle, or if that person isn't used to someone love bombing them, or affection or consistent affection and things like that, you know, going to nice places, they're not used to certain things. The narcissist enjoys doing, you know, certain things for that person, and this is why you'll even wonder why do they do nice things for other people and they stop doing nice things for you, because it was all about seduction. It was all about, you know, giving you a glimpse of what you can actually have, but not giving you the real thing. It's like giving you, it's like giving you an imitation, you know, an imitation of what friendship, relationships, love is supposed to be. They're giving you, you know, something that is, it's not of substance. It's something that's imitation, you know. It's not the real thing, you know. It's just the ideal, you know. So this is why they'll love bomb you, and then, you know, you'll wonder why in special occasions or times where you really want them to show you support, it's not genuine. It's only under their terms, you know. And, you know, I know this very well because, like I said, I watched this person, you know, see me get angry. I seen this person see me get depressed. I seen this person be around when I got out of my depression, when I finally realized what it was. Um, I saw, I saw the different stages of the narcissist and how they approached me or treated me. And, you know, it's almost like they're trying to act like, you know, we could be friends one day, you know. And this is how they keep people around too, because they want you to be connected. They know good people are hard to find, so they almost feel like by doing certain things in your life or teaching you certain lessons, because they know it came from them, they know that's where you learned it from, they'll use it as a tool to make you feel like you owe them something, or you know, or kind of like, you know, you're willing to forgive them. You know, they feel like one day you're going to be willing to forgive them. And, you know, they'll hoover you. They'll hoover you months later. They'll hoover you years later. Try to go back to memory lane, you know. Sometimes they just completely disappear because they get their karma in the worst ways, and they just don't want you to see it because they feel like you're angry at them and you're going to laugh at them, or you're going to you say, I told you so, you know. Sometimes they'll come around you and then they'll pretend like everything is fine, but it's not. And you know, they come around you because they know you were a really good person. They know you always had their back, and then they expect you to still have their back when they're down on their luck, you know. But it's, the narcissist is never really yours. It's just your turn, you know. A lot of times if you reach out to a narcissist or any narcissist that you ever dealt with, a lot of times they're willing to actually speak to you. If you really want to talk to them, a lot of times they will be willing to speak to you, but you're never going to get the same person ever again because your time was up already. So this is what keeps people angry, and this is what makes a lot of people basically ignore the narcissist and never speak to them again, because they know that everything will always have to be under their terms and their control. One of the most heartbreaking things that I experienced at the end was, me and the narcissist getting a cabin, and me thinking that maybe we were going to fix the relationship. And, him just, me and him getting into this big argument because he felt like I disrespected him, even though I felt like he disrespected me in front of people plenty of times. But it was like the moment he felt like I belittled him, he blew up. And the argument just was going back and forth to the point where it was like nothing I could do about it. A bat flew right on, literally in front of his face, because of his screaming, and we're out in the woods, and I had to leave him there. And he texted me, and he was like, me and my new girl, we're gonna enjoy the cabin or whatever. And he sent me a picture of him kissing this woman. He also, prior to that, where I knew we were having problems, and I was willing to forgive him because I knew he was cheating, and he even had sent me a picture of a woman laying in bed with a thong on. And I feel like I was already kind of checked out of the relationship, but that was what really kind of messed me up a little bit, because it made everything feel so real. It was like years of gaslighting, years of finally knowing that I wasn't crazy. And then it was kind of like, okay, you're not crazy. Oh, you've learned to control your anger, your emotions. You learn to stay calm. Now you're becoming indifferent. Now you're not dealing with me. You're not arguing back with me. So they know when you've just had enough, and that's where they'll drop the bomb. That's where the final discard usually ends really bad. That's when they tell you things that you wish you wouldn't have heard, and that's their cue of saying, yeah, I played you. This is what happens when the game is sold and not told. And now so the next time someone games you up, you already see the signs. So you're gonna see that finding a partner or an ideal partner is not what it seems like. So that's how the narcissist wants you to view things, because once you know the game, you won't fall back into a relationship so easily, So the narcissist knows that, and that's why they enjoy the final discard, because they're almost laughing at you, because they know it's not in you to go from man to man, So to them, it's like, okay, once I leave you in the position that I leave you in, you're going to start to see why I get so bored. And I don't ever want to be bored. So then you start to understand why the narcissist is constantly talking to people, and why they were so jealous of you anytime you got along with your friends, your coworkers, why they became so jealous when men would approach you. And their whole thing was to make you feel unwanted, and to keep making you feel like you're not good enough, or you can't find someone good enough as the narcissist, even though the narcissist wasn't good at all. It was just that their seduction got you. And then to them, it's like, you're not going to find someone to do the things that I did, even if you claim I'm such a bad person. You will come across people that will do sometimes more than the narcissist ever did. And when you move on, it's gonna show, because these people are always watching, and they always want to destroy that. They always want to come around and test you out, because that's another test to them. It's like, when they're done with someone, they're done with someone. When they're done playing games with someone, they're done playing games with them. They're going to show that person that they're not really there for them. Yes, they'll hoover them, but they'll never be fully invested. So to them, coming to break you down, returning to the scene of the crime, they don't feel, to you it might feel like, why is someone hurting me this much? Why would they do this? Why are they coming back? But to the narcissist, they look at it like a joke. It's almost like, I'm coming back to the scene of the crime. What are you going to do about it? Because I never go back to the person I was once with. Their time is up. I have a new person. I will go back, but it's only to play around. So when they come around, they're almost coming back around as the Joker. They're just joking. They're playing with you. And that's another part of their game, to show you that your time is up. It's like, your time is up, but are you willing to waste more time with me when I come back around? Are you willing to give me more time? If you do, then you haven't learned your lesson. So they'll come, they'll take whatever you're willing to give them, and they'll breadcrumb you, or sometimes they won't invest shit on you. They're just basically riding off of your emotions. So when the narcissist sent me that text of that woman laying on the bed naked, he basically said, what was it that he said? He said, what did he say? He said, it doesn't stop. It don't stop, or something like that. He said, it doesn't stop, or it don't stop. Meaning that the game doesn't stop. The game that he's playing, it don't stop. And when you come across a lot of narcissists who are stuck on their ways, they'll tell you, I'm never going to change. I'm always going to be like this. They'll tell you. And when they do change, or you see that they're changing, if they're not changing for that other person, they're changing for themselves, and they're changing for themselves to better adjust their time, because every supply has an expiration date for the narcissist, so this is why when they get played, or when they were expecting certain things about, they were expecting to be with someone for a certain time, and it doesn't happen that way. This is why they come back to you crying like they're heartbroken, because they're banking on leaving you and having other supplies that's going to give them a certain amount of time. And a lot of times, some narcissists even premeditate how many years they're going to be with you. Not every narcissist is the same. Some of them, they know that they could be your head over heels for them, and to them it's like they'll have other long relationships with other people while even being with you, because the other person doesn't expect so much. Now, when they start battling, the narcissist will discard you for a couple months, and they'll keep going back and forth with that person. But a lot of times when the narcissist has ruined your life or did certain things, they feel like you're going to end up hating them anyway once you realize what they've done to you. So to them, they're already planning their escape. They don't care how much more you break yourself down. They feel like, okay, I'm going to plan my escape. That way this person can get their life together, and I'll just come back later. It's all literally a mind game. It's war. It's war. And they don't feel bad about you. They're like Kill Bill on you. So it's just your time. And if you try to ruin what they have with the next person, or you're sending that person hints, this is why the narcissist gets so aggressive. This is why the narcissist is ready to fight you. When they tell you not to do something, or they tell you, they're somewhere, they tell you they're at home, but they're someplace else, and you're disobeying them, and you're popping up, and you're trying to mess up whatever they have going on. And they might lie to you. They might seem really nice. Hey, I'm going to bed. And you might feel like they're lying, and you might pop up on them. You know, they're going to get you the hell out of there, especially if they have a supply that's in there in the home. And you don't know what's going on, why they're acting that way. And you're telling them someone's in there, and they're denying it. And you're like, oh, you're going to leave me for someone else, and they'll deny it. You know, one thing about a narcissist is that when your time is up, they've already moved on to someone else, and they'll give you stories that it's all in your head. They'll tell you stories and all that. They're feeding off of that too, because they know that you know that they're lying, and they're basically banking on, you know, you are the one with the mental illness, because you should know when someone shows you who they are, believe them. So the biggest mistake that people do is that they waste their time with the narcissist, and then you almost feel like you owe them something. They try to do that to you so that, you know, once your time is up and they're on to the next source, they can come back in your life for a weekend, or to have someone to call, or when they're going through a tough situation, they want to have access to having your support, you know. So these people are really sick, but you'll notice that they won't be there for you, and you'll spend a lot of lonely nights and lonely days handling situations on your own. So always know that when it comes to the narcissist, you have an expiration date. Some narcissists target, you know, younger women, or people that that feel like, oh, I'm looking for a sugar daddy. Those are the perfect supplies for them, because they feel like you want something from them, they want something from you. You eventually feed into their seduction, and then you think that this relationship is going to be beneficial for you financially in the long run. And really what they're going to do is they're going to play you, because it's just your turn. And then when you start pushing, you know, when your prime is up, your time is up. So I'm sending you guys lots of love, light, peace, and your healing. If you guys enjoyed this, don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you guys are new. And if you guys want to keep supporting my channel, you can support my channel by booking a session with me. My booking information is on the description. Just give me about 24 hours, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Love you guys. Bye.